Derek and Steve present You Heard It Here Second.
Welcome to You Heard It Here Second. I am Derek.
And I am Steve.
And we are back in action for episode number 178. Steve, how's it going?
Derek, it's going well. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Yes, and to you as well. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Ash Wednesday to you as well.
Yep. Yeah, a lot going on today.
A lot going on. No better way to spend the combo Valentine's Day Ash Wednesday than with you, Derek.
Exactly. Likewise.
Are you wearing red on purpose?
No, actually, but I just literally crossed my mind the same time you said that I am wearing red. So
it's very cute. Well done.
That is very fitting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're listening to this, I hope you had a good Valentine's Day because we're recording on Valentine's Day. But yeah, episode 178. We're back. We're ready to go. We got a lean agenda with some good stuff in it today. So it's not like a laundry list today, but I think we got some variety that we're going to put back into the show. So that's good.
Yeah.
So, Steve, why don't we start it off with some shout-outs? I think you got one, at least one here to get us started, right?
Yeah, I'm going to shout out Sean and Rachel. Congrats on getting married. You had a beautiful wedding, and I know Sean, he has played Beat the D, and he's a loyal listener. So
the same Sean.
The
nice.
same Sean. Awesome wedding, really, really fun. Great group of people, great friends. Honored to be a groomsman. Just overall awesome day. So congrats to you guys.
Nice. Where was it?
It was at I'm going to forget the name. It was a yacht club down in like South Tampa, like a beautiful yacht club on the water. And then the upstairs, like big dance floor, really good food, just a fun time.
Sweet. Love it. So there you go. Congrats, Sean and Rachel. Sounds like everything went off without a hitch and blew away the expectations there. So nice job. Anything else for shout-outs
I think
before we
that's
get started?
do you have any shout-outs?
I don't have any shout-outs. No, none today, I don't think. So
Okay.
why?
You never have shout-outs.
I know. Yeah. I don't have shout-outs too often. I don't know. I tend to. I always have to think of something in the final drive, so I like stick my final drive stuff in there. I don't have as many shout-outs in the beginning. I guess shout out everybody that we went on our recent ski trip with. That was a very fun time.
That's a good one.
We didn't talk about it before, but we had a ski trip with our.
Shout out all my friends. That's
shout out all my friends, right?
Yeah.
No, it was fun. It was a throwback to the 2015 to 17 era when we would do trips like with that group of people. So it was fun. So went to Sugarbush. So
and shredded
this weekend there and shredded and watched BC hockey win 2 games against BU in a major college hockey matchup. So
yeah, it was a great BC weekend.
Fun. Yeah. So there you go. I think that does it for the opening shout-outs and brings us right into sports, I guess, right?
Sports. Let's do it.
The Monster Jam.
All right. So in sports, we got only football today in our agenda, and we've got 2 topics. We've got the Super Bowl, and we've got a little bit of Boston College news, which
big news
is big news and good news, I think. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. But first, we start with the Super Bowl. As we might have expected earlier in the season, the Taylor Swift story with Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs ends with, inevitably, the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl after Taylor Swift has a concert in Japan and flies and makes it to the Super Bowl, and it's a love story, and they win the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs win their
happily ever after
in 4 years. So, or third in 6 years, or whatever it is. So. What are your instant reactions to the Super Bowl? A 25-22 overtime win from the Kansas City Chiefs over the 49ers.
It's the closest I've been to truly believing we're living in a simulation, I think.
Yeah.
It's the evidence that I need that this is nothing really matters.
Right.
This is just what's gonna happen,
Right.
We can't escape Taylor Swift. We can't escape the Chiefs. We can't escape our destiny. We are on an infinite loop, and there's nothing we can do to escape it.
It's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
It's a good takeaway.
So the bad news is the Chiefs win, and Taylor Swift wins, and Travis Kelce wins, and we have to hear about them for another year. The good news is nothing matters, and you can do whatever you want because we're living in a simulation.
Exactly. I think
that's my Super Bowl take.
That's the correct take. I think it felt on a serious note about the game. Like I think it's the first and don't misconceive this to be like I'm saying that it's rigged or anything like that. I'm not like a conspiracy theorist that thinks like the NFL set this up for the Chiefs and Taylor Swift to win, but like it did like just have this feeling of like you just know how it's going to end. Like you just knew what was going to happen. Like despite the evidence, despite what feels like the way the game feels like it's going, right? Like I feel like you could have. I think late in the second quarter, when the Niners like hadn't expanded their lead from 10-3 or whatever it was like the rest of the game. It was like how it's going to go. Like and I don't know, again we've related this before in the past. Coming from a Patriots fan, I'm sure this is how other people felt when the Patriots were winning, right? Like I understand that like when teams win, everyone hates it, and it's like, oh, this is annoying. And now I understand how that is not the same for the team you're rooting for when it's the team everyone else is rooting against, right? But it's just something about it. It just felt inevitable this time around. Like other times, it doesn't feel as much that way. I feel like I don't know.
It was the weirdest combo of the Chiefs, who are inevitable. They are very good. Congrats to them. Like they deserve it. But like inevitable. They can't lose. Even when they're bad, they can't lose.
Yeah, right.
That combination with Taylor Swift, who is also inevitable. You can't avoid her. She's in pop culture. She's in sports. She's in marketing. She's everywhere. It was just this combination of two things that you can't escape. And it's so dramatic, but it's a bit. It gives you a feeling of helplessness. How do I stop this from happening to me? Because I don't want any of this. Specifically me. Yeah. I want to unsubscribe. I don't want Taylor Swift drama. I don't want Chiefs drama. I don't want Travis Kelce drama. I want a new storyline, and I have no avenues to make that happen. So we're just stuck in this weird loop, and you can't escape it.
Yeah, you gotta just move to a cabin in the woods. Move to a cabin, unplug everything, and there you go.
Start watching Formula One. But on a serious note, in the game itself, I thought the Niners came out and played really, really well. The defense their defense in the first quarter looked kind of like that Bucs Super Bowl against the Chiefs, where if you pressure Mahomes and you get some sacks and big hits and keep the energy flowing, the whole Chiefs team shuts down. Travis Kelce didn't have a good first half. The receivers were dropping balls. He wasn't completing any passes, getting sacked. So I thought that boded well for the Niners. But like you said, kind of towards the second quarter, beginning of the second half, it felt a bit inevitable. It's just I even told the people I was watching with, the Niners are the better team, but the Chiefs have the players and the experience to win with the last drive. If they get a last drive, they're going to win, and they did. Yeah. So
right.
It is what it is.
And I agree. The Niners were clearly the better team in the first half, but it's what happens against teams like Kansas City when you don't capitalize when you need to, like when you don't expand that lead when you have the chance to. But like you just said, like the beginning of the game, defensively for the Niners, offensively for Kansas City, a lot like the Chiefs-Bucs Super Bowl. The difference being that the Bucs, when that happened, had Tom Brady and put up 3 touchdowns before before that has a chance to come back and bite you, right?
Right.
Like the Niners just coughed up too many chances to expand the lead. They get an extra point blocked. They fumble a punt, right? Like it's just you're just not going to win. Like you just won't against that team when you do those things, even if you are the better team, right? And Kyle Shanahan now, I mean, that's the third time that Kyle did you see the stat about him in the I think it's the fourth quarter or the second half, whatever, in the fourth quarter and overtime of his 3 Super Bowls or the last 2 Super Bowls, whatever it is. He's been outscored like 47-0. Like,
because
he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons when they blew their 28-3 lead against the Patriots.
Oh gosh, is that true?
Then he was the head coach of the Niners their last time against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and then this time against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So on one hand, it's like, okay, he's lost to Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Like, maybe cut him a little slack. Like, it's not easy to just win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
right?
Super Bowl's hard,
but to finish
that's
these games,
bad.
like, yeah, right. So, just really another brutal collapse at the end. I don't want to call it a collapse, but a brutal ability to finish the game. Like it's, I don't think the Niners collapsed, but they definitely just could not like come through at the end as far as like putting up any points really in the second half in the times they needed to. Again, right down to the blocked extra point. Like that ended up being the game in a microcosm for them. It's like 1 point. They probably win that game in regulation because Kansas City didn't get into the end zone at the end. They only were able to force overtime, right? So just tough if you're a Niners fan, but what can you do? So,
and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am not, but these are facts. In 2023, the Chiefs led the league in holding penalties with 30. In 2022, they were 5th with 24. I don't know, I don't have it for 2024, but that's the 2023.
Yeah,
they led the league this year. They led the league this year, and last year they were 5th. In the past 2 Super Bowls, they have 0 holding calls against them.
0 holdings. Yeah.
They led the league and were 5th in the league in holding. And have 0 called against them. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but those are just the facts.
Just presenting facts.
Those are just the facts.
Yeah.
Before we leave the Super Bowl convo, I do want to mention, did you see the post-game interviews with Travis Kelce?
I saw a clip or two. I tried to avoid it, but I did see the Kelce stuff, yeah.
It's the cringiest stuff I've ever seen. Like, not only does he sing Viva Las Vegas, but he says it 3 times and tries to get the crowd to do it, and then you got to fight for your right to party, and he's screaming, and I don't like him. I think I was neutral on him before, and I don't want to blame Taylor Swift, but I think it's the celebrity. Like, I think it's the fact that he's in every commercial. Literally, he's in every commercial. Like, it's impossible to avoid him. He's in every clip on my TikTok. I clicked not interested every time him and his brother show up. Every single time I click not interested, and I get them like 3 times a day. So I think I'm out on Travis Kelce, and that the Super Bowl ending speech was just, I don't know, just not cool.
Yeah,
he's just not very cool.
I agree.
So had to say it.
2 more thoughts real quick. First one, a lot of internet talk going around about Tony Romo. And his job announcing at the end of the game. I didn't really notice it. I didn't notice it at the time, I'll be honest. Like, I guess I was too disinterested in the result that the Chiefs had just won that I sort of like tuned myself out a little bit as soon as they won. But upon looking at it again, pretty big faux pas from the color commentator. The color commentator is really supposed to let the lead guy take the reins for the championship call. Like Jim Nantz finishes his championship call that's going to be played over and over again on the clip of the Chiefs winning, and immediately Tony Romo is like breaking down the play like it's week 8 in the 3rd quarter. Like, it's like you gotta stop talking. Like, so I didn't notice that much, but there's been a lot of talk about whether CBS is going to do, like, CBS has Tony Romo under contract for like $18 million a year or something. Like, they gave these guys huge contracts.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are talking about the fact that starting this coming year, Brady's going to now be the color commentator for Fox. And so it's like, some people have been suggesting, like, could there be like a commentator trade in the works? Because like Fox has
great.
Greg Olson, who did a great job the last couple of years, but he's going to become the B team now because Brady's obviously going to be on the A team. And so it's like, would CBS like trade for Greg Olson? Like,
I would love if there's
funny to think about. Yeah,
if there's some like trade drama between announcers, that'd be great. I did hear. I just heard generally that people didn't like Tony Romo's call of the game. But I will say, I heard that way after the game, and during the game, I thought to myself, I don't think Romo's doing a good job. Like, I remember thinking, like, I don't really like what he's doing right now. I can't remember anything
Yeah.
specific, but I remember having that thought.
Yeah. I generally agree with that. And so that's sort of been a building thing. I feel like that as time has gone on, either he's worn like at first people loved him. Like the first year or two, everyone was like, "This guy's awesome." But
Because he was different, he was trying something new.
Yeah.
You know, he was calling
Right.
plays out before they happened, and
Right.
you know, he was screaming, "Oh, Jim! Oh, Jim!"
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then I think at a certain point, like in the Super Bowl, it starts to become like, all right, like
Right.
let's reel it in a little bit here.
Pull
like,
it together. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that, and then the last thing before we move on to the BC football talk, wanted to get your quick thoughts on because this was a heavily debated topic, was the choice of San Francisco to take the ball in overtime.
Yeah.
And so to be honest, the immediate reaction, everyone was like, geez, they must not know the rules. Like, they must not know the new rules. Like, why would you take the ball first? Both teams get a possession no matter what, right? What was your initial thought on and then maybe if you've changed it all, like what's your thoughts on that decision?
So my initial thought was I also didn't know the rule had changed. I thought it was we were operating under touchdown wins it.
Wins the game. Yeah.
I still think you want the ball first.
I do too. So,
It's overtime. You want the momentum. You want to score and let your defense shut them down. Like,
yeah.
I don't see. I don't know, because then if your back's against the wall, if you have to score, you have to use all 4 downs. So it basically gives you an extra down per possession.
Right.
But you have to score. So
That's true.
I still think you take the ball. I would love to like a numbers guide or like an analytics guy to tell me I'm wrong, but my gut tells me you want the ball in overtime.
Right. I agree. Because what ultimately swayed me that way was that I feel like people all forgot the fact that the game can have a third possession. Like, both teams get the ball. If you are the 49ers, you go down and score a touchdown first, right? Then Kansas City comes back. If they score a touchdown, they either can go for 2 to win the game, which, okay, fair. If that's the way you're thinking it's going to happen, which is the rumors said that Kansas City would have gone for 2 had they scored – had it been tied at a touchdown each, like they would have gone for 2 to win.
Yeah.
But it's like if the teams trade field goals, for example, like having the next possession is critical. Like the next score wins. Like, so to me, it's like any scenario that has a 3 possession outcome, like you want the third possession. Like you need to have that,
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's like, I think it's a little bit revisionist history to look at it and say, oh, well, the Niners got a field goal, and then the Chiefs knew they needed a field goal or touchdown. Like, that's not why the Chiefs won. They won because they scored a touchdown.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I agree.
Had the Niners held the Chiefs to a field goal on that drive, suddenly the decision to take the ball is huge. It's hugely correct because they have the next possession and can go kick a field goal to win. Right. So I think it's a little bit revisionist history. People kind of like crapping all over the 49ers for that decision. Like, I think you take the ball too, but if not, it's at least very close. It's not as obvious as people made it sound. It's like, oh, you want to know what you need, right?
I think it was also I agree with you 100%, but I think it was also amplified by the fact that like they asked like Juszczyk like, oh, would you like overtime?
God,
He's like, oh, I don't
horrible.
like I don't we never even talked about the overtime rules.
Yeah,
and then
that's
they
a
talked to some
terrible
Chiefs
answer.
players and they're like, oh yeah, we knew exactly what we were going to do. We were going to go for 2. We had multiple meetings per week. It just made it look like the 49ers had no idea what overtime would look like in the NFL.
Exactly.
But I agree. I think it was just bad answer by Juszczyk.
And certainly they might have been not well prepared, but just in general, I think that the decision in a vacuum is not as egregious as people made it seem. But So anyway, Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Any other final thoughts on Super Bowl? We'll get to the commercials later, but anything else on the football?
No, I'm just sick of the next year. The next year of football is going to stink.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hopefully someone else can win it next year and remove them from our screens for a little while. So, so next topic is BC football, which has come out of nowhere with, let's say, an investment to try to win at a critical inflection point in college football where the good teams are going to get brought forward into history here, and the bad teams might get left out of college football. Like, that's a realistic thing in the next 5 to 10 years, right?
Yep.
At this critical point, Jeff Hafley leaves randomly out of nowhere. Like,
out of nowhere.
No clues, no rumors.
Our
nothing
head
that
coach
this is happening.
for non-BC fans, the head coach.
Boston College's head coach, Jeff Hafley, who has been underwhelming and would be entering, I believe, his 5th year. This coming year would have been his 5th for BC. Leaves to become the Packers defensive coordinator. And like all the media reports say, like he's getting out of college football because college football is not about coaching anymore, and it's about like yada yada yada, blah blah blah. No,
it's
like
about
Jeff Hafley
money and
left because
recruiting.
he was going to get fired probably,
Right.
and like Jeff Hafley saw that he was potentially going to, like with one more subpar season, would have been fired, and so he got an opportunity to become the Packers defensive coordinator and said, "I'll go back to the NFL where I had some decent success as an assistant." So that's what happened, but. The big news to discuss here, within I think it was 9 days maybe after Hafley leaves, Boston College hires Bill O'Brien as their new head coach, which obviously coming off a very bad year for the Patriots as an offensive coordinator, but a lot of variables in that situation. And ultimately, what most people say, and I think it's accurate to say this, probably the most decorated resume that BC has ever hired at head coach.
Yes.
What are your initial thoughts on the Bill O'Brien hire?
I was shocked. And I think, and this is also will remain to be seen, there's a lot of changes happening to college football. But I think to your point, the NIL and the transfer portal and all of these things, just money is flooding into college football. Conferences are changing. Power 5 conference just went undefeated and didn't make it into the championship. There's a lot of things that are changing. And so I think things will change. I think someone's got to regulate this stuff because it's kind of getting out of hand. But for now, it's the Wild Wild West, and it's take what you can get. And the BCs and the Vanderbilts and the Virginia Techs and the Kansas, the mid-tier, like good schools, perennial like bowl teams, like 6-7 win teams are getting left in the dust by these monsters who are just eating up recruits, paying them millions of dollars, big names, whatever. So I think the fact that Bill O'Brien is a known commodity, he's coached big-time football, he's coached at Alabama, he's coached at Penn State, he's coached in the NFL, he's got name recognition, he also is a BC guy, he's a Boston guy. I think that matters more than how good of a football coach he will be at this moment in college football. Because BC needs to be on. Right now, there's a are you in or out list. Are you going to be one of the teams that's in on the new system, which is popularity and money and trying to like woo good players to your school, or are you going to be on the out list, which is we're going to continue to do things the right way, and we're going to give kids a good education, and we're going to, recruit the old-fashioned way. Like, that doesn't work anymore. Sorry. So I think that's kind of where I stand with it. I think he probably will be a better coach than Jeff Hafley. But even if he's not, I think the name and the resume is more important at this moment for any school hiring right now.
Yeah, agreed. And, like, there's no way to know how the hire turns out. Like, people have shared tweets from 5 years ago when you looked at the hires of a certain cycle, and it's like, wow, these are all great hires, and then some of them were disasters, right? Like, there's no way to know how it turns out. But I think two things. One, simply put, just like remove the name and the image and everything, just like the resume on paper. Zero chance that resume is a candidate for the BC job without local ties. Like
totally,
just simply not possible. An offensive coordinator for a Heisman quarterback, right? Someone with a winning record in both the NFL and the Big Ten, right? Like those are years under Belichick and Saban, right? Those are not like you don't have to be blown away by that, but you have to admit that is not a Boston College head coaching candidate. That's not a candidate there.
We're typically like get the offensive coordinator from a good school,
right. Someone to use us to step forward, right? Someone to take a leap forward with us, and then there have been coaches that have been good when they left BC. Like there have definitely been some stories of people at coordinators, head coaches at BC moving on and achieving great things, but very rarely has the hire already achieved great things. Like the person who's already has a decorated resume get hired at BC. So that's the first thing. And then I think to your point on the second part of it, for me, this is like Bill O'Brien is a very high floor candidate, I feel like. I would really be shocked if you see BC just torpedo to the bottom of the conference with Bill O'Brien. Like, I mean, in this college football world of NIL and, all of these different incentives now for players, short of being one of the marquee programs, like the historic, marquee, iconic college football programs, one of the next biggest selling points is going to be a pathway to the NFL. That's what these kids want if they're not getting to go to an iconic school and get paid a ton of money, right? Like they otherwise need a path to the NFL. And you can't probably make a much better case for a well-connected coach in NFL circles than Bill O'Brien, right? As far as his tree of coaches and people that he would have connections with. And so there's that element to it. And I think when you talk about the teams getting left behind, right, you've now got a 17-team ACC, right, with these 3 new teams that are being added.
Yeah.
And everyone always talks about Florida State and Clemson as being major candidates to be poached by another conference as these conferences get bigger, right? And I think for BC in the next 2 to 3 years, if Florida State and Clemson leave, you simply must be in the next group of 5 or 6 teams in the ACC. You have to be. Because if those teams leave, we just saw what happened to the Pac-12, right? It was a domino effect. Like a few teams left, then all of a sudden a few more, and then there's 2 teams left at the end who are no longer a part of power college football, right?
You got to get scooped
that's what
up.
Happened.
You got to get scooped up.
And so BC needs to be in the next 5 or 6 teams after Florida State and Clemson. They have
I
to
think they see the writing on the wall with the ACC.
Yeah.
I do.
Right.
I mean, I don't think the ACC is viable anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so anyway, long story short, I think that Bill O'Brien, in addition to all the other things we said, is a great candidate to try to make sure that we're in the next group of teams in the ACC.
Yep.
And I think that, paired with who was a great quarterback for us last year in Castellanos staying, and major credit to him for not, leaving and transferring as soon as the Halfley news broke.
Yep.
It's a huge feat that BC didn't lose as far as I know, any players when they lost their head coach. As far as I saw in reporting, nobody entered the transfer portal between the time that Halfley left and the time that O'Brien was hired. And now no one's certainly entering it at this point because people seem to be very excited about O'Brien. So that's a huge feat and a huge kudos to Blake James, the athletic director, for moving quickly, spending money, and getting this coach in that quick of a time. It's rare that we can sit here and just applaud a move that BC did universally and be like, this was awesome.
Yeah.
But
and if it goes poorly, we get to say I thought it would go great. The fans get to say, I was wrong,
Exactly. So there you go. Bill O'Brien era has begun at Boston College. We'll have more talking about that as the season gets closer, but he's filling out his staff and getting things ramped up and ready to go. So anything else on sports?
No, we've got Super Bowl commercials later, but that's it for real sports.
All right, so that brings us to portion number 2 of the episode, which is, for the first time in several episodes here, we have a draft that we're going to do.
We got a draft,
so Steve,
baby.
What are we drafting today?
So today we are drafting the best smells. The best smells, Derek. Yeah. We've confirmed that neither of us has Googled any smells. So this is just memory. What do you remember as the best smells? Universally the best smells.
Yeah. Bring back the memories.
Bring back the memories. So I'm ready to kick it off. Unless, do you want to flip a coin to see who goes first? I say
no. So we discussed this before. Last time we had a draft, I went first. So I think this is only fair that you get to go first.
I knew it.
And
I knew you were going to make me go first.
Well, you can defer. You've won the coin toss. Put it that way. You've won the coin toss.
Fair.
So you can defer your decision to. There is no decision to defer to. You just go second if you defer.
Is there any advantage to going
I don't
last?
believe so. I don't believe there is. I mean, no, not that I can think of. I mean, of course we could snake. You could snake, draft, but
we don't want to snake. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go first. I'm going to trust myself.
He's exercising his right to go first. So
I want the ball. I want the ball. Okay. So I have a list here. I don't have them in any order. I'm a little nervous.
Same.
So with the number 1 overall draft pick, the number 1 smell draft pick, I'm really afraid that you're going to start naming off some that I want. But I have to start with the smell of baking bread. The
Baking
smell
bread.
of bread being baked in an oven
good
or
one.
like, yeah. Oh, I can smell it now. Now.
So it's
I don't
in the
know if
oven,
that's-
or it's just come out of the oven, or
Either.
doesn't
'Cause
matter. From the smell standpoint, it's the same smell. Right,
same
so-
smell. But
yeah.
like a lot of it, like a big wafting, like
Right. Like a kitchen of like 4 different ovens making some fresh bread.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. That's a good pick. That was among my candidates. So I think that you didn't strike out on that one. You didn't waste a pick for sure.
I know who someone's going to
So-
text me and saying you're a stupid idiot for picking fresh bread first, and it's
Yeah.
Andrew.
Hey,
it's
you know.
it's one of our listeners.
No, I don't think. In the interest of gamesmanship, I will say that I don't think I was going to draft that first, but I can't sit here and hate on the pick because it would have probably been a top 2 to 3 pick for me. So I think it's a good pick. All
Okay.
right, my first pick might be. To be honest, this might be the thing that was discussed when we originated the idea of the game, or of the draft. Like we had this idea when we were on the ski trip for doing a smell draft, and so this might have been the smell that triggered the idea. But
I might have given this to you too.
I'm
I
gonna
bet.
have to go with firewood burning.
Oh,
As my number 1 pick.
I thought that
So,
was
burning
that's on my
firewood.
list. Dang, that's on my list, and I thought you weren't going to get there.
Really?
I have like the smell of a fireplace from your neighborhood. You know, you're like walking through the
Yeah.
neighborhood and it's cold,
Yeah.
and you can smell someone with a fire. Firewood is a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's obviously different levels of that. I think, firewood is just the catch-all there. Like, whether it's you smell it in the neighborhood or, like, in our case, I don't even know what we were smelling on the mountain. Like, but I remember it vividly. It's one of those smells that you just, like, it instantly just hits you, and, like, it's very distinct.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going with firewood. It's number 1.
Okay. So I got to decide whether I got to go specific to me or try to get mass appeal. All right, I'm gonna say I gotta do it. I gotta do it just because it's universal. I'm gonna say fresh cut grass.
Ooh, fresh cut grass. All right.
Fresh cut grass, number 2 overall pick. Probably a
like it.
specific male smell. I don't think girls like fresh cut grass as much as guys do, but
That's true. I think it's true. I think that it's slightly lower on my list, probably because I think you've mostly lived in a more year-round warm climate where like I haven't recalled that smell since the summer for me.
I'm telling you,
but
I'm looking through my list now, and it's very Florida specific.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. All right, I
Yeah.
don't know if that changes my strategy at all.
It's
but I
very
don't
warm
think
weather
so.
specific.
Yeah, right. All right, so I feel like mine might even tend towards cold weather, actually, now that I'm looking at my list. But all right, so my number 2 pick here, I have a couple choices to go between, but I think I have to go with the one. I think I have to go with the one that I am more worried that you would pick between these two.
Shoot.
But I don't know if you'd pick it because like this isn't like I'll just pick it and then we can discuss.
Just pick it.
I'm gonna go with the freshly brewed pot of coffee as number 2. So
Damn. All right.
because you're a big coffee shop guy, and like coffee shop
Yeah.
arguably has a different smell. Like I'm really talking about like the pot as just
Yeah.
been brewed.
No, I
Like,
know. I've got ground coffee, like
ground
right
yeah.
after it's been ground. Oh.
Yeah.
So I will say this.
You could theoretically still pick that. It's a little bit different, I think, but it's pretty close.
It's close.
Yeah.
My strategy was to kind of pick my picks thinking that you wouldn't have picked the 2 that you picked. So I need to start thinking like you. I'm just
But
going
hey, yeah, I was gonna say the last time we did a draft, I started hot too, and then then the fans didn't like my performance. So the 2 rounds is not enough to determine a draft. So
No.
you got plenty of time here. So
Okay. I am going to pick with the number 3 smell draft pick. I'm going to pick a fresh pack of trading cards. Or like,
Wow.
when you open up a pack of trading cards and it's got that like fresh paper smell,
yeah. That
Like
that's
fresh paper.
fresh paper. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of similar to like maybe I shouldn't say this I'm not going to say it because it could actually. This could be a unique, different item on the list, so I won't steal the thunder. But yeah, it's. I know exactly what you're talking about. That wasn't on my list, but I like that one a lot actually. Yeah, that's
very
a
probably male specific.
too. You got the
the crinkle when you
true,
open up the pack.
You have a few things here. Yep. The like delicately trying to take them out. Don't bend them or anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. All right. Let's see. I got two here that I'm trying to decide between. But I'll probably go with the other one so my last pick, I picked the one I thought you were more likely to pick. This one I think you're slightly less likely to pick. So I'm going to I'm still going to use it now because I think I'm starting my draft with universal picks, but I'm going to say the smell of freshly cooked bacon as number 3.
Oh, interesting. Was not on my list.
Yep.
I think that's good.
It's one that can wear thin, right? Like if you just have bacon all the time, it's probably a little, and I'm not even
burnt,
like a huge
a little
bacon
greasy.
fan. Yeah, right. And I'm not even like a massive bacon. I'm not someone who's like, oh, bacon on everything. It's like that might contribute to why I like the smell more, right? Because I don't have it that often, so I'm gonna go with bacon as my third.
That's a
third
pretty good pick. It's a very recognizable smell, so it's not bad.
Right. Right.
I have to do this too. I'm sticking with the theme, Florida boy. I'm gonna say opening a fresh can of tennis balls.
Oh wow! All right.
Tennis balls.
That is a good. I can, for whatever it's worth, not being a tennis person, I can smell it in my head. Right?
Yes.
So I think that does justify it a little bit.
What do you justify it? It's an incredible pick. It smells great.
No, it's a good pick. Justify, like you could have definitely picked it 5th because I don't think it was on my radar. But I think that's not a good. It's not a good barometer of a pick. It's like whether the other person would have picked it. Pick your guys. You got to have confidence.
Pick your guys.
So
exactly.
So I like it. I like it. Okay, I got 2 picks left. I think I'm between 2, and I think I'm just going to go with the one that is equivalent to your 4th round pick for me. That I know you're not going to pick, but
like a hockey puck or something.
It's a hockey rink. Is my pick.
Oh gosh,
stinky.
Like
no,
sweat?
Not stinky. I didn't say locker room. And I think people who grew up with hockey would know this. Like there's something about the air, the ice, like the rink that is not smelly. Like the locker room stinks. Like the locker room is sweaty equipment. That's not the smell I'm picking.
I've been around some hockey guys and they all stink.
The hockey guys, yes, of course, the guys stink, right? But the entrance to the rink, that's where the parents walk in. Like when you walk in before you get to the locker room. Just the general smell of the rink. I'm going with 4. Admitting that that's a very specific pick. That's my 4th round pick. So.
I can't even think about what that smells like. I have no concept of that smell.
It's definitely not a big Florida smell. So
no. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I'm not thrilled with my draft so far.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 5th pick. I like my smells. I really do. For me, they're great. I think I'm going to get some flack. So I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go big.
All right.
I'm going to try to win over some people who didn't think they were going to get one over today.
Yeah, all right.
I'm going to say with the 5th pick for the smell draft, my 5th pick is going to be gasoline.
Wow. You said you were going bold.
Gasoline. Do you not like the smell of gasoline?
I respect this pick. Yeah. No, I do. I respect this pick. You know what So it doesn't come to mind for me as being on the list of things I would draft here, but I have to give some credit because it's probably the most, how do I put this? It's probably the most strong and identifiable smell, right? Sometimes I think about this, right? If you, in a post-apocalyptic world, when you miss everything about the way Earth was, right? If you suddenly smelled a gas station, that would be one of the most bring you back smells probably of current Earth, right?
It's pungent.
It's kind pungent. That's probably it's not a necessarily relevant piece of logic for me, but that's one of the ways I think about it. So I'm not talking that pick.
I'm not talking gas station. I'm talking gasoline. When you can smell the actual gasoline. Ooh, gives you a little
So even stronger.
Little buzz.
Yes. Gas station, but someone sprayed it all over the ground.
Yeah.
That
I
is
like it.
interesting. That's an
I'm
interesting
sticking with
pick.
it.
I don't dislike it, and it's very unique. I
Some
don't know
people
if
are going to
I'm
love that. Some people are going to love that.
for sure. Some people do, and some people will hate it. And so you're looking to win over the key crowd here. Like that's the purpose of that pick, I think.
I need to rally the base. I need to rally my base.
Exactly. All right, now I got to choose my final pick. The ones I'm picking between right now are very different. But I'm going to, my list is pretty themed. For it's relatively cold weather based. Like I feel like most of my stuff has no association to summer except for maybe firewood, I guess.
No,
Even
that's
that has,
winter
like, a
too.
warm- Yeah, like outdoor fire pit or something is summery.
Yeah.
But I think overall I have a winter theme, so I'm going to stick with it. I'll just say that sunscreen was in the.
Oh, that was on my
candidate.
list.
It was in the
Yeah.
candidate here, but I'm not picking sunscreen.
Sunscreen was
because
on
I'm
my
sticking
list.
with my theme, and I'm going to go with Christmas tree.
Okay.
Pine/Christmas tree, as my final pick here.
It's truly summer versus winter.
It is summer versus winter.
Yeah.
That is pretty much a fact. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I just sticking on brand and sticking with my theme here. So
I think that's
go with that.
I put sunscreen at the beach was on mine. Like
Yeah, that was what was in my head with sunscreen. Yeah.
Yeah. Also on my honorable mention list, I've fresh cut wood. Like a 2x4, but that's too close to firewood.
Like construct. No, yeah, I think that's different enough. I would have thought that was okay, but yeah, I think that's a good one.
I also have the smell after the rain. It's like that
Yep.
humidity, earthy
Yep.
smell, and then also
Yeah.
fresh laundry.
Fresh laundry, another good
Just
one.
fresh laundry, but fresh laundry is too specific to like the deodorant or the detergent
Yeah.
you use.
Right. It has a lot of variance. It's not like one identifiable smell.
Yeah.
The only other candidate I had left besides the sunscreen was movie theater popcorn. Was also on my list.
That's good, but not not a top five.
It didn't rise to the level. But had that draft gone differently and I ran out of things, I could have been picking that for sure. So
okay, so let's run
there you
through
go.
and see.
Run back
people
through,
let us know who won.
Yeah.
So with the first overall pick, I'll give you my starting five. Steve drafts fresh bread, fresh baked bread or baking bread, fresh cut grass, newly opened trading cards or like fresh paper, tennis balls, and gasoline.
there you
So
go.
fresh bread,
And
cut grass, fresh paper / trading cards, tennis balls, gasoline. And
There
Derek,
you go. So- yep.
you can go through yours.
Oh yeah, sure. So second overall pick was firewood, and then we've got a pot of coffee, freshly brewed pot of coffee, freshly cooked bacon, the smell of a hockey rink, and a Christmas tree / pine, but Christmas tree, a real Christmas tree.
I will say yours is a good draft, but hockey rink is just not gonna win over a lot of people.
It won't. But it's only one pick, a fourth round pick. It'll win the hockey people over, I think. But I understand it's not going to be a pick for everyone.
You
But
don't play
I'm hoping
tennis,
the
and
rest
I
of my
pick-
picks carry. Yeah,
I
sure.
picked tennis balls, and you were like, "I know that smell. It's a good smell."
It's true. It's definitely less identifiable than tennis balls for sure. Less widely recognizable. Yes.
I agree with that too.
So
Okay,
So there you go.
I think that was relatively
draft.
even.
Yeah.
I think my base is going to rally behind gasoline. We're going to be good.
yeah, we're gonna have to see. So, I this is comeback player of the year effort here for me because the last draft didn't go well for me. So so we're looking for the fans to bounce back around my new team. So there you go. There's the smell draft. Pretty good, I think.
Pretty good. Well done.
It's a good category. It's a fun category. I
Yeah,
think.
that was your idea. Good call.
So if anyone has more categories that you think we should draft, certainly
Or
let us
smells
know.
that we
Feel
missed.
free.
I would love to know
Or
any smells we missed.
Definitely that too. So there you go. Anything else on smells before we move into the fan-driven segment?
No, just that weirdly 2024 I've kind of dubbed the year of smells and sounds.
Oh, yeah, you said that.
I got the record player, which is sounds, and I've purchased some specialty detergents and incense, and I'm going in on smells like lavender soaps and stuff. So it was funny that you picked smells
there you
because
go.
I'm locked in. I've got a lot of good smells in the house right now.
Yeah, you're going to be hyper aware of all the smells. So
Good and bad.
All right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, all right, here we go. Now into our next section, which is from just two today of the fans.
So why don't you slide in my DMs? What? My DMs. Slide in my DMs. What? My DMs. What?
All right, so a shy bunch today. We have two anonymous questions. Now, in fairness, I forgot to post our Instagram story, but the draft took up a lot of the time today anyway, so it's kind of okay. So we got two anonymous questions. You want to read the first one, second one? Or
we
both,
do. I love.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
I like both these, but I love the first question.
Yeah.
All right, from Anonymous. What musical instrument do you actually hate?
Very random question.
It's a random question. Do you hate any musical instruments?
So, I mean, nothing. So there's only one instrument that came to mind, and I don't really know if I hate it, but it came to mind. So I'll just, I'll go with this one, and that was the recorder.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
came to mind
just,
for me,
like,
too.
But, I don't really know if I hate it. It's just, that was, the first thing that came to my mind, and I kind of struggled to think of another one that I really just hate. So I'm curious what you thought, if there's one that you actually can confidently say that you hate.
No, so for the sake of the question, I'm gonna pick one that I hate. But it's a good question because I've never thought about not liking a particular instrument, and especially hating an instrument. But I've got two that came to mind. One is I don't think I'm all in on the harp as much as others are.
Okay.
You see a harp only in the movies or in weird parties or like gods are playing it when they're eating grapes or something like that. The harp. I've never seen one in person, never heard one in person. I'm just not sold on the harp yet. I don't know about the harp.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I hate it. And then another came to mind, and I think I actually do hate this. And I don't know why, but it's the tambourine.
Tambourine, really?
The tambourine.
Huh.
I don't know why.
I feel
it just
people
gives
like tambourines. I feel
it gives me bad
generally
vibes.
people like them. Yeah. Hey, it's not for
I can't
everyone.
think of any
Yeah.
song that has it. I mean, I know what it sounds like, and I know a bunch of songs use them. Just you look dumb playing it. There's no way to look cool playing a tambourine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
kind of a drum, kind of a cymbal. Just have the drum. Have the drum guy do it. Have the drummer do it.
Yeah.
Have him use his drums.
Yeah. In the sense that someone is on the tambourine alone, it's pretty stupid.
It's a dumb look. You can't look cool doing it, I don't think.
So this is probably controversial, but I actually sort of during your answer realized that I'm close. I might hate the cymbals. I actually might hate the cymbals.
Okay, let's
because
go. Get it out.
People who can't play them, a drummer who hits the cymbal too loud is the worst thing I can think of as far as music goes.
So you're not talking two cymbals in a band, psh, in a
no. Oh, the
orchestra,
person who holds the two and no. I'm talking
You're
about
talking just the
drummer's
cymbals on
cymbal.
the drums. Oh, interesting.
The
That is
cymbals
a
on the
hot
drum set.
That is a hot take.
And but because played properly, I feel like it's a good addition to the drum set, right? But I think that in the bad scenario, I can't think of an instrument that actually makes me be like, oh, I hate this more than someone who's slamming the cymbal way too loud as a drummer. So that'll be my official answer there because I don't have a bone to pick with the recorder really. So
No, that's bold. I mean, I respect it. That's bold.
Yeah. So there you go, Anonymous. Hopefully that was a sufficient answer. I'm curious what other instruments people hate if you have any.
I'm just going to throw this in there too while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love the violin either.
I think I could be with you on that.
I think the violin's a little too... a beautiful violin is so beautiful, but you're always on edge of the sound a violin makes when it's played poorly is the worst sound.
It's horrible, yeah. And
it's
the horror,
horrible.
a horror song kind of, the scary music, when it's disturbing violin.
Yes.
That's true.
So I'm always on edge that they're going to mess up and it's going to send shivers down my spine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
violin's
a good
on
point.
watch.
That's a good point.
Violin is not in hater alert territory, but it's on watch.
List. Yeah.
On a watch list.
So there you go. There's your musical instrument question. And our second anonymous question is a would you rather. And so this one is seemingly around time travel, asking, would you rather go back in time to meet your ancestors or go forward in time to meet your descendants? So
I'm going to let you answer this first. I think I know my answer.
I think assuming I have to come back to the present day and continue living, I think I have to go back in time and meet my ancestors.
Okay.
I think that it would be. I think you would spiral into an existential crisis if you went into the future and saw your descendants. I don't know if I could handle that. Right? Like that would be a lot to process. Whereas the ancestors, it's like, this is awesome. See where I came from, right? But like it's already happened. It's like it's good, So that's kind of where I think that's my answer.
Interesting. That's my answer too. Is go back in time to meet my ancestors, but mainly because like to flesh out your answer, your ancestors are living, breathing beings. Like they did things that affected your life. There is history. Their history is your history, which is really, really cool. Your descendants are theoretical. Like I can't. Like, will I care meeting like my great grandkid when he's in his 30s? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. What would I ask him? Well, who cares?
Yeah.
But like, if I go back and meet my ancestors, I'm like, okay, cool. Tell me about your life. Like, where'd we come from?
Yeah.
Like, what are your? It's just, it's more realistic. It's more grounded, which I am into.
Yeah.
I don't care about my descendants. Who cares? Go do your thing. They can do whatever they want.
The flip side of it is that to those descendants, they would answer the question that they would want to meet you. So it's like, it's like sort
True.
of. I can see the flip side of like.
Should I grace them with
you
my
are
presence?
that-
Do you mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Like they would be thrilled right now.
I'm here.
So anyway,
Ask me
I
any
think
questions.
So there you go. There's our answers. Is go back to meet the ancestors. So thank you both to anonymous submitters for those two questions. Not a heavy DM day, but two good ones, I think. So, anything else on that before we move it into the pop culture miscellaneous stuff?
Let's do it. Pop culture.
Yeah. So with the Super Bowl we talked about before, we had commercials as well, as we do every year. And so what was your initial takeaway of the Super Bowl commercials, which seemed to me that just more and more money every year gets poured into these, and I would love to see a study on like how impactful they actually are for these businesses. But nonetheless, what was your thought on the Super Bowl commercials?
My thought on the Super Bowl commercials, unfortunately, is the same as it has been for the past like 5 years, where they're just not great. I feel like there was, I can't remember when it was, but maybe it was like early 2000s or early 2010s. When you'd get excited, they were all funny. The E-Trade baby was doing funny stuff. The like the cavemen were doing funny stuff. Like it was just all trying to be funny. They were all trying to out-funny each other. Mm-hmm. And maybe they still are trying to do that, but it's not recognizable as funny, at least. I thought even the one that I want to like a lot, like the Dunk Kings one with Ben Affleck and Tom Brady, and like that's pretty funny. But it's not that funny. It's more forced and weird and awkward than funny, and it's gonna be like known as one of the better ones this year. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought Jesus had a lot of commercials. There's a lot of Jesus commercials.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate talking about the commercials because it's like what they want us to do.
Right.
You paid $1 bazillion. What we all should do is turn off the TV during the commercials or mute it during the commercials because that's what they want us to do is digest the commercials and rank them and like, oh look, we spent $1 bazillion to tell you Jesus washed feet. Whatever.
Yeah. It's just like it confuses me more and more each year when the commercials aren't like. I agree. Like they used to fight to be the most talked about commercial, and like I'm not sure that they always do anymore. Like I don't. If they are, it doesn't seem as obvious as it used to be. Like one that that sticks in my mind as one that doesn't stick in your mind was like a Lindor chocolate commercial that was just like a regular chocolate commercial. I'm like, why did you pay $4 million to air this commercial? Like is the idea that like I'm subconsciously going to want to have that chocolate now? Because that's the only thing I can think of, because it wasn't like funny. It wasn't like, it was just like a commercial, And so like there's that side of it. But then I think the Dunkin' one, you're right. Like I liked the Dunkin' one, but I think in another year, like if that commercial airs in like 6 or 7 years ago when these were all like being created to be as funny as they could be, I'm not sure that would have landed the way it did. I think that it landed because like that was probably the only funny commercial in like a 30-minute span,
right?
Like, so it's like on the spectrum of commercials, it's funny. On the spectrum of classic Super Bowl commercials, it could have been cringy had it been surrounded by like actually funny commercials, right? So, but yeah, so I think that one was good. I do. I'm able to get over the hump and say that I did like that one, but I agree with the sentiment of like it might have been more so because of what it was surrounded by, right?
Yeah. I also will say
I'm also
I think
from Boston, so
I think the beer commercials used to carry a lot of weight, and now Bud Light got like massively canceled, and they're trying to rehab a bunch. So I think they kind of dialed back a lot of their. Because they usually have the goofy, stupid, like dilly dilly,
right,
stupid stuff, stuff that you pay $1 billion and say like dilly dilly, but like it's memorable. But now I think all the brands are a bit more cautious, which is boring.
Right.
I did like the
definitely true.
I did like the Paramount Plus where they throw Hey Arnold, the football head.
Yeah.
I actually saw a longer version of that commercial before it aired. And I laughed out loud because the longer version's even better. He says, "I'll throw him," and he takes off, and he's wearing this old school football uniform, like throw the child, and he opens up his like an arm sleeve. You know how they have the plays on an arm sleeve, and it just says "throw the child." It's so stupid. I think the stupider they are, the better and more well received they'll be during the Super Bowl because people are looking for absurdity in these commercials. So if you give them, or like you see the Duolingo one that got a bunch of play. It was just the bird. Google it. It's actually pretty funny. It's just the bird, like the Duolingo bird has a big like green butt, and it just gets more inflated until it pops, and the Duolingo bird's face comes out of the other bird's butt and just says, "Do your Duolingo today," or whatever. And it's so absurd and stupid, but that's what you want. I'm here for dumb. I'm here for the craziness. I'm not here for your chocolate commercial that you could play any other day.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing I'm not really here for is the like teasing and leading up to it. Like that's one negative mark for me on the Dunkings one. Is like there was like multiple Ben Affleck Dunkin' commercials like leading up to the Super Bowl, like in the playoff weeks, like before the Super Bowl, where it was like him in the studio, like I don't know if you remember those, like they were short. There was like, they were basically like short little dumb commercials that was leading up to the fact that there was going to be a big Super Bowl commercial, right? I don't like that because then it's like you're setting these expectations and like, just like make the Super Bowl commercial. I don't know.
Make the commercial.
Yeah, just make it. Make it funny.
Just make it good. Make it funny. Make it laugh.
Entertain us. So anyway, there's your Super Bowl grade. We'll see how they progress each year, but I think we don't love the trend of the way they're going as a whole. So there you go.
There you go.
I think we got a big topic next, though, right?
Big topic, Derek. Huge. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Taco Bell news. Were you waiting for it?
I was waiting.
Are you still waiting for it?
But I could easily be caught off guard. So.
Are you always on edge when I'm doing Taco Bell news?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And there's also sometimes a little bit of a delay, like where it's like the network latency. It could be a half a second late, and then you'll think it's even later than it is, right? So it's definitely a high pressure job. So
Taco Bell news. Nice. Okay, so this week in Taco Bell news, we have big news. So Taco Bell has announced 12 new 2024 menu items. 12, Derek. People are feeling the crunch. It's hard out there. Inflation's at an all-time high. Even fast food is expensive. Taco Bell's trying to change it up. There's 12 new items. Some of them make no sense to me and will make no sense. Like if I say Cantina chicken, who knows what that means? Who cares what that means? But there are a few that are pretty mind-blowing. So first things first, Mountain Dew Baja Blast Gelato. You heard me right. A Mountain Dew Baja Blast Gelato. Basically, Baja Blast ice cream.
That's something. Yeah.
That's something.
I'm intrigued.
It's not nothing.
Yeah.
Even more interesting and intriguing, crispy chicken nuggets. Taco Bell is it's been a long time coming. They need chicken on their menu. The fact that you can't get like an actual chicken burrito, you can get like their gross like chicken quesadilla chicken, just like little strips. You need like real chicken. Mm-hmm. So I think this is that. And it's going to come with a jalapeno honey mustard.
Interesting.
Crispy chicken nuggets. Also, Taco Bell is known for mixing it up, for mashing flavors. The Cheez-It Crunch Wrap. It's going to be a Crunch Wrap, but with a giant Cheez-It in the middle instead of a tortilla. That's not fake. That's real.
You know what we need? You know what? Actually, the next time that we have Taco Bell news, I would like to structure it in a way where I have an advantage when I'm the one who says it. But I think that it should be structured in a way when you name 3 things and we have to figure out which one is a real new Taco Bell item. And which one and which ones aren't.
I was just about to say, I think I could be in the lab. Like, I think I could be in the Taco Bell lab. Like, put me in there and let me brainstorm some stuff. I can do it.
Yeah.
Doritos Locos Taco could have been me.
Yeah.
I can think.
That's true. So the Cheez-It Crunch Wrap, that's what came to my mind when you read that.
Cheez-It Crunch Wrap.
Like, that could
let me move in
been
space.
Something you made up.
I could make that. A giant Cheez-It and put it in the Crunch Wrap.
I like it, though. I like it.
Replace all tortillas with Cheez-Its. So, yeah, but that's real. That's happening.
All right.
And there's some other stuff. One thing that is going to slide under the radar, but I think it's going to be more important than people know, is tagine. Do you know what tagine is, Derek?
No.
So tagine is like a spicy, tangy seasoning. It's it's like a lime, salt, pepper, seasoning. It's like something you would sprinkle on, or like on a margarita. You can have a tagine rim instead of a salt rim. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they're going to start using tagine in a bunch of stuff, which would be great. Okay. It's a really cool, limey Mexican flavor, so I do like that.
Nice.
Also, coffee. Apparently, they're going to do horchata cold brew lattes.
All right. All right.
Yeah, so just a lot of Taco Bell news. Lot of news. But yeah, I'm not going to run through all of them, but those are the big ones, with Cheez-It Crunch Wrap obviously being the headliner. The headliner.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So there you go. Massive Taco Bell news. 12 new items. So definitely go check those
2024.
out. Are they available today? Like, are they already out, or is
there's a list of they're gonna some of them are opening in Milwaukee first, and some of them are in California first. So I don't have that list in front of me.
Right.
But 2024. Cool. It does say 2024.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Anything else there?
That's it for me.
Good. Cool. All right. One more. You ready for everyone's favorite?
This is everyone's favorite segment. Everybody knows that. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, everybody's favorite segment, Cozy Book Corner. This time around, I read a classic. Derek, have you ever read an Agatha Christie novel?
No, I don't think I have. You've asked me this before, but I don't think I have.
Have you ever seen an Agatha Christie movie?
Not that I can think of, but I
Murder on the Orient Express. I'm sure, and then there were None was one. The Killing of New York. She basically invented the murder mystery. She invented 10 people on a train. The lights go out. The lights come on. Someone's dead. Right. And the detective has to figure out who did it. So, and then there were None is one of the classics I read, and then there were None by Agatha Christie. It's truly that. 10 people invited to an island under mysterious circumstances. One by one, they die until there's one. Yeah. And who done it? This was my second time reading this book. I read it a long time ago before I did reviews. It was kind of read it in passing. It's a pretty easy read. And I thought reading it again, I gave it a pretty mediocre rating, and I thought reading it again, I should be able to see the clues. I should be able to find, oh, cool, I know who did it this time around. That's the whole point of this book, is knowing who did it, and I know who did it. So I was looking for the clues. I was like, oh, cool, maybe she hid some stuff in here. You know, it's like Fight Club. If you watch Fight Club again, you see a bunch of stuff. Or if you watch, like, what's that movie with Bruce Willis? He sees dead people.
Sixth Sense?
Sixth Sense. If you watch Sixth Sense again, you see all the things. Or if you watch Truman Show, you see all the things. Mm-hmm. This is not that. This is just 200 pages of people showing up and dying, and then dying, and then dying, and then dying. There's 10 people, and I couldn't really understand who anyone was. Like, until 5 people were dead. Like, once 5 people were dead, I was like, thank goodness. Like, I can understand who the remaining 5 are. There was too many names, too many people. I could care less who they were. They survived for 15 pages. Who cares? So I respect Agatha Christie. This is like, you know, Hoosiers, Derek?
Yeah.
You know the movie Hoosiers?
Yeah.
It like invented the sports, like the comeback underdog sports story. It invented that, and so every other thing is standing on its shoulders, even though Hoosiers sucks. That movie sucks. That's like this. That's like this. And Then There Were None is not objectively a good book. But there's a billion books that I've read that are like this because of this. So
it's
I
just
gave
the
it
shoulders, right? Everyone
it's
else
just
is
the
standing on
shoulders.
them, and the shoulders don't have to be good. You just need something to stand on, right?
They just need something to stand on.
You know,
so it's not terrible. 64% Steve Nicholas avocados. It's the classic murder mystery. 10 people, one by one they die. Who did it? And there is a twist. Right. It's a twist. You can be like, oh wow, interesting. But like, it's a twist in the final page. You know, it's like you read. You don't find clues along the way. You just find out. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you're trying to, if you really love the murder mystery genre and you're just trying to read a classic, or you just want to, it's like quick, it's easy, it's like 250 pages, it's written in like Old English, the writing's pretty good, but otherwise not recommended. And Then There Were None, Agatha Christie.
All right, there you go. So only if you're really itching for it do you pick that one up. Otherwise, it's what paved the way. You don't need to go see it. You know, you can
just follow the fullback.
Follow the fullback, right? Like,
you don't need to know the fullback.
They're doing the blocking for you. You don't need to block yourself, right? There you go.
I have a quick question for you, Derek.
Yep.
Where are we on the book train for you?
Yeah,
like, where are we on two book questions? One, first, do you read? Are you still reading? I can never tell.
So you currently very slowly.
You're reading Lincoln Highway.
Lincoln Highway, yep, which is a very long book. So
very long, but good. I'm enjoying it.
Good. It is good. It is good. But no, to be honest, it's currently for me, it's more of a, you know, I read when I have a lot of extra time, right? Like I'm not someone who's been able to like carve out time to read.
You got to carve time,
and so
or do audiobooks.
Or do audiobooks. I should do more audiobooks because I commute and like I can do that easly while commuting. But I haven't been doing as many audiobooks. I did for a little stretch. I talked about those short audiobooks I had done. And I did like a stretch of like 7 of them. But as far as longer ones, I haven't done it. I should get back into it. 2024, busy year for me. And part of my final drive will touch to more about that. But wedding planning, you know, all this stuff that's going on. Takes away some of the time.
Excuses.
I will admit they're excuses. But so anyway, the book train is moving slowly. I have not put down the book for like pausing. Like I do chip away at it, but it's very slowly. So
second book related question. You were, I don't know if we're still talking about this, but you were in the process of writing a book, and
true.
I have read the first chapter or the first whatever we're calling them, the first couple chapters.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Thank you.
I want you to finish it.
I do as well. I'll be honest. It'll probably not be this year. It hasn't been progress lately. Again, it's more of like that. Even way more so than reading books. Writing, I need to like have 2 to 3 hours at a time to like focus. You know, and so It's definitely stalled because it's way more so than reading. It's one of those things that like the momentum to get back going is hard because you need to remember where your brain space was and like what was
you want to dual write it? You let me write the next few chapters, and then you write the next few chapters.
I don't think I can't go to the bullpen yet, but we'll see how things go. But
if you need the closer,
but yeah, I do definitely want to get back into that. I would like to make more progress this year on it, but my original goals of like releasing it, I think it was this year I was trying to be done, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, it was like last year's resolution, I think,
was like to be close to like having a real draft and like. I've written about like 50 to 60 pages, like of equivalent, like it's like a 300-page target for that thriller / science fiction genre. So I've written about 50 to 60. It's a legitimate chunk, but there's a long way to go. Right.
Imagine if I cozy book corner your book.
That would be the pinnacle.
That would be the pinnacle.
That would be the height. That would be the height.
I don't know.
So.
What if I shred it? What if I'm like, this book sucks?
That would be a tough day.
10%. Rotten
that would
guac,
be a tough moment,
brown
but we're authentic. We got to be authentic. So, so anyway,
I'll
more
tell
to
you,
come, hopefully. But yeah,
the story from what I read, you've got something interesting.
It's got the bones. It's got the bones. Just gotta put it together. So. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll hopefully more to come soon on that.
Cool.
So soonish, soon in the big picture.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anything else on books? Cozy Book Corner?
No.
All right.
No. I'm reading.
Brings us to the.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. No. Yes.
I'm reading three decent books right now, so I will have a lot of good reading. 3 is in like listening to one. And reading one for book club, and like the other I haven't gotten back to, but I was liking it before I stopped. So stay tuned. More good books on the way.
Nice. I was going to say reading 3 at once is major book train. Like that's book like caravan, But
yeah, we're the conductor.
We're the conductor. Right. Alrighty. Brings us to the final drive. You want to go first or you want to go second?
I want to go first, Derek.
First, do it.
So the LPGA. Do you know what that stands for, Derek?
Yes, the Ladies Professional Golf Association.
That's right. So the LPGA held a tournament, a legit tournament, at my home course, the Bradenton Country Club, where I've been a tennis member my entire life. We were on a family plan at the country club. That's where I learned to play tennis. That's where I still go to play tennis. Play pickleball there now. I've played at the golf course a bunch. It's a beautiful new golf course. They just renovated it last year. Hosted a full-on LPGA event. Apparently, I wasn't there, but my parents volunteered. They said it was incredible. There was an overtime. They went to 2 holes overtime.
Wow.
It was packed. It looks great on TV. And even cooler is a local Bradenton golfer won. Nelly Korda, who's a very good golfer. She was number 1 in the world for a few years back. I think she's like in the top 10 now. So she could have won. It wasn't like out of the blue. But she's from Bradenton. She was born and raised here. Like not an IMG person, not like a European who now plays at IMG. She was born and raised in Bradenton and had the entire city and all these random people who were there rooting for her as the local golfer.
Wow. Very cool.
She was leading going into the final day. She fell behind. She sunk a birdie to bring it to a playoff, and then won on her home course in 2 playoff holes.
Wow.
So really, really cool. Just thought it deserved a mention. The Bradenton Country Club did a wonderful job. They got a bunch new sign-ups, like a lot of new members. Really good publicity. It's just really, really good for the course. It's good. The tennis people grumbled a bit. They're like, "Oh, they're closing our course. They're closing the tennis courts for 3 days." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a national tournament, dude. Like, take a day off." But overall, I think it was really, really good for Bradenton, good for the Bradenton Country Club, and I'm happy for Nelly Korda for winning. It's just a cool story.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Great story for her, and great for the country club to get good publicity. So mine is a lot less exciting than this, but my final drive is about an application, a computer application called Sweet Home 3D, which sounds as old school as it sounds. So we, among the busy things I was mentioning for this year, one of the other things that we're doing is we're beginning the kind of remodel / refinishing of our basement.
Oh yeah,
to be able to kind of make that like basically the house that we moved into over the last summer. The main level is all newly finished in like 2018 or 19, but the basement is like finished. Like it's got lighting, plumbing, like it's all like a finished space, but it's very old. It's last like updated probably in like the 80s, I would guess. So we're trying to redo the floors, walls, ceiling, kind of like make a little bit of a different layout, which might be putting up a few walls, but nothing like major yet. But so I found this app called Sweet Home 3D, which is for making floor plans. And so this is a very niche and targeted final drive at anyone who is considering any home projects where they need the floor plan things. But it's like the most like 90s looking out like UI. Like it looks like it was from when computers first started
Googled
becoming popular.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks like
it's got like
an early website.
Yeah, an early website. The graphics are like very like early, like Sims like almost, you know. It's like it's very old school feeling, but its functionality is just what it needs to be, right? It's like I can very easily like draw the walls and the rooms and like all that stuff. So very user friendly despite being old. So it's kind of has that touch of nostalgia with the functionality you need for that thing if you're trying to do that. So it was super helpful for us to like map out what we want to do down there. So figured I would shout it out, free software to give it a try if you have a home project that you're working on. So there you go.
There you go. Sweet Home 3D. It is. Yep. It looks fake. Like it looks like it wouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly. And its name is just like so it sounds fake. Yes, it sounds like ChatGPT like created a 90s looking like floor plan software.
Yeah, so. It's like E-Bombs World. You like go and you just like
right. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's probably been around for that long and it works and it does one thing.
You know?
So
can't knock it. Can't knock it.
So there you go. So there's the final drive. Thank you to our anonymous question askers and to everybody who tuned in and is going to give their feedback on the draft, the smell draft. And basically, thank you to everyone except for the Chiefs and Taylor Swift, right? I think.
Thank you to everyone.
Kind of a summary. Yeah.
Shout out all my
except
friends.
Yeah. So anything else before we wrap it up?
No, sir. Oh, yes.
There it is.
Yes. Also, I will say
second
this.
time.
I do that all the time. I need to stop. It's one of my verbal tics. Is you always say anything else, and I say no, and then I say something else.
Yeah.
But
in fairness, I could stop asking anything else, but then
it
seems
else.
like you sometimes have anything else, right?
No, because I say no, and then you don't start right away.
Right.
I have to fill the space.
That's true. Maybe I'm
just
conditioned to let you fill the space. I don't know.
Yeah. I say no, but yes. What
is the thing?
Oh, the thing is, I think, fingers crossed, and I don't want to oversell it, and I probably shouldn't even say it so we don't get beholden to it, but we may have content from this podcast. We may put out social content.
It's true.
We're attempting. We've gotten some feedback. We've gotten some callbacks on our request for social media managers, and we're going to try this out. So
there you go. How's that for a tease to end the episode?
There's a tease. If you listen to the episode, it's going to be the same stuff. We can't recreate. We can't. I guess we could create new stuff.
Yeah, but it's
let's see how this goes first.
Repackaged, same stuff.
Repackaged. Yes.
Anyway,
video content.
That's true.
Video
that's true.
content.
If you listened, you didn't see the videos, so there you go.
Yeah.
So there it is. That's it for episode 178. Thanks to all the listeners and the anonymous question askers. Keep an eye on the social content, and we'll see you guys next time for episode 179.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Ash Wednesday. Later days.